The Order of the Solar Temple. Luc Jorat and Joseph de Mombreau founded the Order of the Solar Temple in 1984 in Switzerland. This cult merged elements of New Age movements, Christianity, and UFO conspiracy theories to form a unique belief system that attracted followers interested in extraterrestrial religions. Jorat and de Mombreau claimed they were destined to reach a mythical planet in the Sirius star system, and they taught that death was merely a means to transcend human existence and ultimately reach this planet. In the mid-1990s, Jorat and de Mombreau persuaded their followers to participate in mass suicide rituals, presenting them as a way to shed their earthly forms. These rituals also served other purposes, such as executing traitors and potential defectors. Several massacres orchestrated by the cult led to a total death toll of 77. The mass suicides ceased when authorities intervened, cracking down on the cult's activities and arresting the remaining leaders. Aum Shinrikyo. Aum Shinrikyo, also known as the Doomsday Cult, combined elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, and apocalyptic visions to attract followers. The cult was founded by Asahara, a charismatic storyteller who claimed he could absorb the world's sins and grant spiritual power to his followers, freeing them from their sins. Asahara also believed that a nuclear war would devastate the planet, sparing only his followers. In 1995, the cult became infamous as an international terrorist organization when it carried out a sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway, killing 13 people and injuring many others. The attack was motivated by Asahara's desire to hasten the end of the world and ensure his group's dominance, as well as his belief that killing non-believers would prevent the accumulation of bad karma. Following the attack, Asahara and other key members were arrested, and despite continued attacks, Asahara and 6 others were executed in 2018. Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was an American cult founded in the 1970s, with its founders claiming they had visions of the world's end. This California-based group gained notoriety for its belief that extraterrestrial beings were superior life forms responsible for eternal salvation. The founders asserted that Earth was destined for a doomsday event, and aliens would rescue the cult members by taking them aboard their spacecrafts, granting them immortality. The cult persisted for over 20 years until 1997, when the Hale-Bopp comet's arrival convinced members that the end of the world was imminent. What appeared to be a party with drugs and alcohol turned into a tragedy when 39 members committed mass suicide, believing it was time to shed their physical forms and be transported to the alien spaceship trailing the comet. The Manson family. Charles Manson, a struggling musician, founded a gang called the Manson family, which adopted cult-like beliefs centered on the hippie culture of that era. The family's members, mostly young women drawn to Manson's charismatic teachings, lived unconventional lifestyles and used psychoactive drugs like LSD. Manson preached about an apocalyptic war he called Helter Skelter, a doomsday scenario involving brutal battles between black and white people. This belief led Manson to direct his followers to carry out a series of murders in 1969, the most prominent victim being actress Sharon Tate. Manson believed that Tate's death would incite racial tensions and fulfill his prophecy of a race war. Though Manson did not personally participate in the murders, he was convicted of murder and conspiracy for instigating the killings. He remained in prison until his death in 2017 at the age of 83, due to cardiac arrest. The People's Temple. Jim Jones founded the People's Temple in 1954, blending Christianity with communism and promoting racial equality. Jones' inclusive approach helped the People's Temple amass a large following. However, the media began investigating the group's questionable practices, including the belief that the Bible restricted Christians. In response, cult members harassed journalists for exposing their activities. Government scrutiny increased when Jones began targeting defectors and supporting rebellious military factions. To escape this attention, Jones moved over 900 followers to a settlement in Guyana, known as Jonestown. In 1978, reports of abuse at Jonestown prompted U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan to investigate. During his visit, Jones ordered the assassination of Ryan and the defectors leaving with him. The night after the assassination, Jones coerced his followers into drinking cyanide-laced beverages, resulting in the deaths of over 900 people. Those who resisted were forcibly injected with cyanide. Jones himself was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Noxium. In 1998, Keith Raniere founded Noxium, initially presented as a self-help organization aimed at empowering its members. The group expanded to 18,000 followers in North America until 2017, when former members revealed the abusive practices within the organization. A secret society existed within Noxium, where women joined under the belief they were becoming part of a sisterhood. Raniere exploited these women, compelling them to obey him and subjecting them to psychological abuse. He manipulated them into believing his semen had supernatural healing properties. Women could reduce their own abuse by recruiting new members, who would then be subjected to even harsher treatment. New recruits were also required to provide naked photos, which were used for blackmail to prevent them from exposing the group's activities. Following the exposure of Noxium's practices, over a dozen women testified in court against Raniere, detailing his abusive behavior. Raniere was eventually convicted of multiple crimes, though his lawyers stated that he never expressed remorse for his actions. The Children of God. The Children of God, founded by David Berg in 1968, began as a Christian evangelical movement. However, Berg soon started interpreting the Bible in his own unique way. The group adopted unconventional practices such as communal living, free love, and extensive sexual activity. Members used sex to recruit new followers, a practice that became known as flirty fishing. At its height, the group boasted tens of thousands of members, many of whom were drawn to its sexual openness. As the cult's practices became more widely known, it faced criticism and allegations of abuse and exploitation. In an effort to improve its image, the group implemented internal reforms, abandoning its controversial practices and rebranding itself as the Family International, TFI. New rules were established to protect younger members from exploitation, and flirty fishing was discontinued. Today, TFI portrays its members as soldiers in a spiritual war of good versus evil, maintaining a degree of sexual openness while claiming an intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. Although the group still exists, its following has significantly diminished from its peak. The Ant Hill Kids. Roche Thériault established the Ant Hill Kids in 1977 in Canada. Claiming divine authority, he convinced people to quit their jobs and join his community to listen to his sermons and live free of sin. However, the community soon became a nightmare. Roche imposed brutal rituals, including amputations and genital mutilation, which he believed were necessary to purify the body and soul. He became an authoritarian figure, controlling every aspect of the members' lives and demanding absolute obedience. In the 1980s, authorities became aware of the cult's activities following allegations of physical and psychological abuse, and even murder. These allegations led to Roch's arrest and imprisonment in 1989. In 2011, Roche was killed in prison by his cellmate, Matthew Gerard, who admitted to the murder immediately afterward. Gerard, already serving a life sentence for a previous crime, claimed he had nothing to lose. The Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments of God. This cult was founded in 1989 by Credonia Morinde and Joseph Kibweter, preaching the importance of the Ten Commandments and attracting traditional believers. Members refrained from speaking, eating, or having sex to avoid breaking any commandments. The cult predicted the end of the world on December 31, 1999, and the leaders demanded money and material possessions from followers, claiming it was their only path to salvation. When the apocalypse did not occur, members rebelled and demanded their money back. Desperate, the leaders set a new date for the apocalypse, March 17, 2000. They organized a massive gathering at their compound, but the building was set ablaze, killing everyone inside. Both founders disappeared that night. Ugandan authorities investigated and discovered over 900 bodies, either burned or poisoned, across properties owned by the movement. It was concluded that this was not a mass suicide but a mass murder orchestrated to cover up the leaders' failed apocalyptic prophecies.